This is the second dialogue between J. Krishnamurti and D.Bohm, which includes Dr. Parshere, at Brockwood Park, 1975.
Where do we start, sir? How do we start?
Do you have any idea?
Lots of them. I talked about it. So if truth is something totally different from reality, then what place has action in daily life in relation to truth and reality? Would that,
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
One would like, or one should, or one must, or not in future. One has to act in truth. And we said the action of reality is entirely different
Yes.
from the action of truth. Now, what is the action of truth?
Yes. Well,
Is that action unrelated to the past, unrelated to an idea, an ideal, therefore out of time? Right, sir?
yes.
And is there an action ever out of time? Or action is always involved in time?
Well, can you say that the truth acts in reality? I mean, that is that because we were saying that at the end of the last time that although reality may have no effect on truth, truth has some effect on reality.
Yes. But one would like to find out if one lives in truth, not the truth of reality, but that truth which is not related to reality. Reality being what we said the other day, a process of thought, think about something that's real or reflected upon or distorted, which is illusion and so on. We went into all that. So what is action in truth? If it is not related to reality, if it is not an action in the movement of time, then what is action then? Is there such action? You follow what I mean? Can my mind disassociate itself from the past and idea of I shall be or will be or must be or should be, a projection of my own desires and so on? Is there an action which is totally separated from all that? Am I kind of putting the question rightly, or am
Well, well, perhaps we're going, very fast.
Yes, little too far perhaps.
Because you see, I think ordinarily the action is related to the fact, you see, too.
Yes, fact is, as we said,
Yes.
that which is being made or that which is being done now.
Or according, there's another meaning, that which is actually perceived, or see that which is actually established by perception or by experience.
Which is now.
Yes.
That is, the seeing is the doing.
Yes.
Perceiving is the acting in the present. And the present, is it a continuous movement of the past through the present to the future? Or is the present a thing that is whole, that's complete, that is sane, healthy, holy, and everything in that word, whole? I don't know. Because I think this is rather important to find out. Because the man wants to live in truth. This is his first demand. What is action in relation to truth? I know the action in relation to reality, which is based on memory, which is based on environment, circumstances, adaptation, or an action, I will do something in the future.
Yes, now, is there a separation between truth and action? That is,
That's it.
You say a relationship, or is it the truth acts?
Yes. Or that's right. Is truth action?
Truth is
or
action.
Yes. Or is truth acts unrelated to time?
Yeah, unrelated to time, but it is action itself.
Action itself. That's, as we said, perceiving is the doing.
Yes. I mean, truth is what establishes the fact, then.
Yes. And the fact, you said too, is not only what is being done, what is being made, but the actuality of the moment.
Yes. It's the actual act of perception.
Perception.
Which establishes the fact.
Fact, yes, that's right. So is perception a movement of time, a thing that comes from the past to the present and the future? Or is perception unrelated?
Yes, I should say it's unrelated.
Unrelated, yes. So we are saying, is this what we are saying? That perception is action, and action is truth. And that truth is the perception of the actual, the what is, the moment of.
Yes, you see, there's a peculiar history of that, because, some people have said, yes, the pragmatist, the truth is either that which works or the truth works. Now, that isn't quite the same thing.
Right. No.
Because you have a moment of time between the truth and how it works, you see, in that view.
And that's wrong.
And that's wrong.
Oh yes, moment you have a gap.
Yes. So the truth is action itself. And
so can a human being let truth operate?
would you say that the action or operation of truth is in reality is intelligence? I mean, or is there, because in some
Yes.
way, right?
Yes, it must be, of course.
Because in some sense intelligence is an action of truth, right?
An action of truth, it is not cultivable.
No.
But we are saying a lot of things. I don't
What?
know. We are saying a lot of things.
It's very difficult to establish. I mean, if you want to take it as a fact, then
Yes, that's just it.
it has to be established. Because we discussed intelligence before, and in some way we seem to be discussing truth in the role that we were previously giving intelligence.
Intelligence,
See,
correct.
it's very hard to make these words clear.
Yes.
Uh,
What is the root meaning of the word truth?
well, I looked that up. We discussed it last time, but I'll repeat. I've
Yes,
looked it up more
please.
carefully since then. The English word "true" has a root meaning honest and faithful, and the Latin word "verus" means
Ver.
that which is.
That which is.
So
That
I
which
think both meanings are relevant.
Yes.
And saying that reality must be honest and faithful
is.
to
Yes.
that which is. You see,
That's quite.
like a machine that runs true. You see, the word "true" in English does not have quite the same meaning as "verus" in Latin. It may have it, but it has other shades of meaning.
Right. Verus that which is, of
That
course.
which is. There's an English word "sooth," which means that which is. It's gone out of usage,
Quite.
and it comes from esse.
Essere.
Yeah, from the Latin word. But,
So what I'm trying to get at is, can a human being live only in the present, in the sense that we are talking of the present, which is live with what is all the time, and not with what should be or what has been.
Yes, well, I think the principal question arises whether you can be clear on all the other things, on that which is not, you see.
Yes, that which is not quite.
But which appears to be that which is.
Appears that which is quite. Therefore, we should go back from Puisa. What is perception? If I can perceive clearly what is reality, and all the illusions and the sanity of reality, the reasonableness of reality and the unreasonableness of reality, the illusion and the actual. If I see that clearly, then can there be a perception of what is, which we say is truth, and that very perception is action, in which there is no operation of thought. Is that what we're trying to say?
Yes. Would you say that when we say perception of what is, that implies a separation again?
I mean, perception.
Perception, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that what is.
It is not. There is no observer and the observed. There is only the.
Yeah. I mean, it's very hard in our language to avoid this. You see,
Yes.
because.
Yes.
As I see it, the perception or the fact is what is, not the act. The act is what is, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, but we have to get clear what we mean by this whole world.
Yes. Yes. Are you saying, sir, the what is has its own action?
Yeah, or it is its.
That's it. It is its own action.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, we have to be. The language continually tends to put in separations.
Of course, that's.
But you see, I thought that. See, since last time I've looked up a number of things which are connected with what was said, and I went over this question of reality again. You see, and one important point about reality is the notion of substance. You see, because we tend to think that things are real and have some substance.
Yes.
And that is that they exist in themselves. See, the word substance is just substance; it stands under.
Stands under, quite.
As the very meaning of the word is that it's the reality which underlies the world, the appearances of the world. The permanent reality which underlies the appearances of the world, the notion of substance. So this is part of our idea of reality. It's a kind of essence. You see,
Essence?
substance is a sort of essence, a permanent reality which would underlie all the appearances.
Quite.
And I think that's part of the notion of reality, which, you see, part of the problem is this, that we think of reality not merely as things or appearances, but as some substance which underlies all the appearances and which therefore is what is. You see, in other words, our thought implicitly tells us that reality is what is and that truth is about reality, you see.
I don't get it.
You see, we tend to think that what is the real is reality.
No, I understand.
And our truth
Right.
would only be to know correctly about reality.
Right.
Now, what we're proposing here is to turn it around. Say truth is what is, and
Yes.
reality as a whole is nothing but appearances. You see, is what's being proposed as I see it. A kind of appearance, which may be a true appearance or correct appearance.
Yes.
You see, or it may be wrong, maybe illusion. But there's a tremendous habit of saying that reality is what is, you see.
Quite. Yesterday, the doctor and I were looking at the Sanskrit dictionary. Maya is not only measure,
Yes.
but also illusion.
Yes. Yes, you see, in other words, I understand this doctrine of Maya now to say that the world, you could take it to mean that the reality that we see is illusion, but I don't like the word illusion because
No, I don't like
the
it.
word illusion implies that there is another reality.
Yes,
In other words,
quite.
perhaps that Atman might be the reality, or Brahman.
Yes, that's it.
And therefore, but what's being said here is not that, but that reality, no matter in what form, is not illusion, but it's an appearance which may be a true appearance, as it were, or it may be false.
Quite.
But appearance has its function. You see, it's necessary. But men have always searched for that which underlies the permanent reality, which underlies appearances. The appearances are always changing. You can't trust them.
So that motor, that car,
Yeah.
is a reality.
Yes. But we have to say that this reality is not that which is. Do you see? In that sense,
Yes.
it's a kind of appearance, but it is also a fact. You see, because we can say that it's an actual fact because either it is actually functions or we actually perceive it or something. You see, in other words, to say that motor car is a reality, there's a sort of an implied statement in the way you're talking that it's an actual fact as well. You see.
Yes, quite right. Yes.
Not merely a reality.
It is an actual fact. It is
Yes,
there.
yes. Whereas reality might be something very abstract, you see, like saying that
An idea.
An idea might be taken as real.
Reality, quite.
You see, or even walking on a road in a dark night, some shape may be real to you, but it's
illusion, quite.
It's illusion,
Not
it's not an
a
actual
fantasy.
fact. You see,
Yeah,
it's not.
quite.
So this is I'm saying that there's an unconscious thought process. Our thought is not only conscious and the ordinary unconscious, but there's a sort of a deeper unconscious, which is just that movement by which we invest everything we see with the shapes of thought. Do you know what I mean?
We give words, thought.
Yes, and it goes faster than
form.
Form comes in faster than you are aware of.
Right.
And that seems to be part of the reality.
Right.
It is part of the reality.
It is part of it, quite.
No.
Is desire a fact?
Don't let's go into that yet. I want to be clear for myself.
You said about the object, like car. But if we go into the abstract things, which are not within the scope of our senses, but their validity, whether they are facts or not, is to be decided. Like
So we said, if I understood it rightly, we said it's a fact and it's also non-fact as a reality. I must be careful here. Just let me get clear. We said reality is a projection of thought. Think about, reflect upon. And anything that thought creates or makes is a reality, either as a distortion or an actuality. Now, we've said that. And we are trying to find out what is the relationship between truth and reality. We're going over what we talked about the other Sunday. Is there any reality? Is there any connection between the two? That's one point. And the other is there an action which is different from the action of reality and the action of truth? Not action and truth, truth acting. Whereas there is a division in reality.
A division of what?
Between the observer and the
Oh, yeah,
observer.
yes. The observer is one reality, observing the
And the
observer is
other
another.
reality. I get it.
No. But truth is indivisible.
Indivisible. So is there an action in one's life which is indivisible? Because if the mind cannot find that indivisible action, it must be always in time, in conflict, in sorrow, and all the rest of it must fall.
So you could, I was looking at it the other day, that one could think there's one field of reality as a field, would that be reasonable? Which contains all the things, that might be there, and it contains the part of me, it contains thought.
Yes.
That thought is real, and all these things react to each other and reflect on each other.
Interrelated.
They're interrelated by reaction, reflection. So my thought is no different from all the interrelation.
If thought has created them, they're all interrelated.
They're all interrelated. Now, you see, if we look at nature, let's say, I mean, on one point of view, nature is real, but it seems to be implied something beyond that.
No, I would that tree is.
Yes.
Therefore it is true.
All right.
But
the
I
point.
can distort it.
Yes. Well, that's the point I was trying to get at. You see. See, if we say that the tree is that which is truth,
Sure.
then we are coming to a point of view, which, or an idea, a way of putting it, that to say that reality is not a substance, but we are in a way saying truth is the substance.
I
You
see.
In
Yes.
other words, the role which we were previously assigning, the role of substance is to underlie, to stand under.
Yes.
And, it may be the word understand is related to that. You see, to stand under.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, because, we won't discuss that. But you see, we are seeking in some way a substance, something that stands under the appearances. Right? And we seek it in reality. You see, this has been age-long habit.
Right.
Looking for some solid reality that a permanent reality that underlies all the changes, and explains, so we understand. Now we hope to understand that way, right? To stand under it. But it may be that, to say that the whole of reality is no substance, it does not have independent existence. Do you see what I mean? That
Yes.
it is a field. It is a field, and what stands under this reality is truth. You see, would that make sense to you?
But that would lead us to a great danger.
There's a danger in there, but I'm trying to say, is there any way of making this point clearly?
I understand that. That is, under
Or within or something.
yes, inner, outer, and the inner is the truth. Are you saying that?
Not exactly, no, but I mean, I'm saying that we're saying, look, that truth is action. You see, they're not.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, truth is action.
And it's the actuality and so on.
Perception is action.
Yes.
Seeing is action.
Now, if you say the tree is truth, the actuality of the tree is the action.
Yes.
And so.
Yes. The seeing is the action of that.
Of the tree.
So,
but you see, this turns it around. See, it's very hard from our use of language because one gets confused quickly. One turns it around the other way. One tends to think the tree is a reality and I see it. Do you see? Do you see the problem?
Quite, yes.
Now, you have to try to get hold of this very subtle new thing, my new approach,
Quite.
Right, of language. You say the seeing of the tree is the truth.
Is the action.
Is the action. Would you say it's the tree then?
Would you say?
That the seeing is the tree.
So, in seeing the tree is the action.
Yes, seeing is the action. Now, does the tree have any action in itself?
Obviously, it's growing or it's
growing,
dying.
but
Or
then that's the point we're trying to get. Because if you only talk about the seeing as the action, it's always the question is in the back of your mind about the rest of the action.
quite.
You see, that's where the notion of the substance comes
yes,
in.
substance. I understand.
In other words, see, we're trying to understand this. You see, and I see a problem. I say seeing tree is action. That's very clear.
Yeah.
But then I begin to think the tree has its own action.
Of course,
I don't see it.
Of course, which I don't see.
Yes, and
Yes.
I say, what about that? How do I consider that? You see.
Why should I consider it? I'm just asking. Why should I consider
to understand, you see, for example, you think the tree is growing, whether you're in
No, then that becomes the process of thought.
Yes.
How to feed it, how to help it to grow better,
Yes.
and shelter it, and so on, so on, so on.
Yes. But see, we tend to get into this situation to say that only what we see at this moment
I see. Yes.
has any
Yes.
significance.
Yes.
You see, and I want to put it so that we do justice to the other thing too, without
Yes.
contradicting any of
Yes.
this. I mean, I don't know how. You see.
Now let's begin again a little bit. Would you? I mean, we say seeing is action.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
No doubt. Seeing that tree is action.
Mm-hmm.
But the tree, the actuality, has its own activity.
Its own activity, and other people have their own action, their own
Yeah.
activity when I don't see them.
Yeah, that tree has its own activity.
Yes.
Now, thought can come along and help it to grow properly, feed it and all the rest
Yes.
of it. Why should there be a division between seeing and seeing acting and the tree growing? Why should there be a division?
Well, the trouble is, the way we put it, it sounds like there's one so far.
Ah,
I'm not saying there should be.
so we said too earlier, seeing acting is intelligence.
Yes. Well, I think what I put was that truth acting in reality. I don't know if that was I proposed as a guess as intelligence.
Truth acting
in
in
the field of
reality,
reality.
in the field of reality, is intelligence.
Yes.
Wait a minute, let me get this clear.
Maybe it won't be right. You see.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure it's right. I want to question it. Truth acting in the field of reality is intelligence. But truth is intelligence.
Well, that's another way of it. I want to propose that the truth is intelligence.
Yes, because truth is the seeing, is the acting, and the acting, and that action is whole, and therefore it is intelligence. Any action that is whole, it must be intelligent.
Now, why do we use two words at all? Then you see. I mean, wouldn't it?
No,
be?
I don't want to get stuck with one word.
Oh. No, but I mean the word. If you use two words, it suggests you're looking at it somewhat different than the other
that's
word. But it's not clear what the difference is. You see.
Because, so, would it right if I said, seeing is the doing, and therefore it is intelligence, and that intelligence is the essence of truth, and that intelligence operates in all the field.
All right. Intelligence operates in all the field, but if you say intelligence is the essence of truth, it's not clear. You see. Because
Essence of truth in the sense, the seeing is the doing. The seeing what is action. That action operates through intelligence.
But now we've made it kind of a distinction. Do you
Yes,
see?
I know.
See, it's not very clear. It's
I know, I'm trying to go here.
you see,
So I want to find out, that's what I want to get at. I want to find out is it possible to live entirely in truth? If we could start from there, perhaps we can go into it. That is, he's functioning only with what is.
yeah, sorry, that's
Huh?
considered. Look at that. Let's look at that.
That he's not bringing into operation his memories, his remembrances, his personal reactions and all that, but acting, let the fact act.
Yes, and the fact, as I see it, includes also the action of memory and reality. As long as you see, that is part of the fact.
Yes.
That memory is actual.
Yes.
Memory can be an actuality.
Yeah, of course it is.
And therefore we can see memory as an actuality.
Yes.
And that is still acting in truth. See, because we have to be able to act in truth even when we are doing, when we are using memory, and I say engaging in some relation with the tree, you see, to make it grow.
So would you say if one was living in truth, and therefore living with that capacity of intelligence, and that intelligence operates in the field of reality.
And also beyond it.
Because it's beyond it, because it's
Yes.
outside reality.
Yes, intelligence is the action of truth, but it can operate in the field of
Yeah,
reality.
that's all we're saying.
Yes. See, suppose we were saying the field of reality is a field, we don't commit ourselves to it. You know, we were discussing last time it should be true in the sense of being straight and healthy and sane
Yes.
and so on. And not
Good
distorted.
old
Right?
yeah. Holistic.
Yeah. And now we don't say what this, see, we don't know what this field of reality is. I propose that it's, in some sense, it is not a substance. It doesn't stand by itself. But now we can truth can operate in that field.
Yes.
And
Intelligently,
and thus far we have no problem, you see.
Yes.
I mean, it's when we try to say, does the tree have its own action when we are not looking at it? It may begin to produce a problem.
I'm not looking at it going on.
Yes, it's going on, but then we have to say that's part of the field of reality. You see, we
Yes.
don't.
Yes.
We accept the field of reality as operating.
Quite so. You live in truth, and your actions in reality are guided by intelligence.
Yes.
With me, guided by intelligence. And I observe you as an observer and the observed, two different entities. I observe you and I want to find out how to live in the same way. Which
Yes.
means you have no contradictions, you have no, you are living always with what is. Yes, how am I to come to that? Because I see enormous possibility in what you are. I don't know if I'm making myself.
Yes.
I see that is real creative way of living. And whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you write, has got that quality. Now, not that I'm greedy or that I'm envious of you. I say what a marvelous thing it is to have that capacity. Now, how am I, who always thought in duality, the observer and the observed, truth is something for all that business, how am I to come to that? Because if it is something unique to you, then I'm lost interest.
Yes. Well, it can't be unique.
Then
Otherwise
therefore-
it won't be true. Right?
And that just it. So how am I? Not how, not the Methodicism, all that silly stuff. But how to get that thing? How I want to live the way you do. Not ambitious, greedy, or all that silly stuff. I see that. I can't imitate you. You're not my example. But there must be that same perfume in me as you have it. Now what am I? You follow, sir? I understand very clearly the field of reality. Now I'm beginning to understand from your discussion. The field of reality and truth, which is the seeing of what is, and the operation
Yes.
of seeing what is, which is that intelligence can operate in this area of reality. And because it is intelligent, it will never distort that reality.
Yes.
It will never go off into a nationalist or a distorting activity. So I see that very clearly. Understand it verbally perhaps, intellectually, and I feel little emotionally attracted to it. What am I? How am I to come to that?
Well, see that this truth is indivisible, which means that
Truth is indivisible.
and therefore, well,
But I am divided, I am fragmented, I am broken up. You follow? I am living in reality only.
well, I have to say the falseness of that. You see, as truth arises when.
You see, then you give me not hope or anything. Then I'm lost, you follow? I haven't got the ground to stand on. I know how to operate in reality because I've been trained, conditioned, and all that. I know how to do that. Either I do it badly or excellently, rising above all that. But I haven't got this other thing.
Doesn't it become another part of your reality as a projection of the state in which?
No, I'm telling you, sir, I only know the reality. I have observed that reality being distorted. I've observed that the energy of reality operating rationally and irrationally. I'm quite familiar with that.
But then your observing is doing.
No, that he tells me that. No, keep it too strict. He tells me that. I don't know what that means. I understand it intellectually, I understand it, the verbal communication, but the fact of it.
Well, when you say you don't understand, when you say that you see that reality is distorted, for example.
Yes.
That seems that therefore something is beyond reality and seeing it.
And that's why I said I begin to see what distortion is.
Yeah, and to see that requires truth. Right?
No, wait, does it require truth? That's what I want to.
Well, let's look into it.
That's what I want to get at slowly.
If there's no truth, then I don't see it.
That's what I want to get at that.
Yeah.
Is that the beginning or the quality of reality? You follow?
Truth.
No, of truth. Of truth. Seeing in the field of reality the distorting factors.
Yeah. Seeing what's false,
false, neurotic,
Yes.
all the rest of it. Is that the seed of the other?
Well, it has to be.
That's what.
Because you see, if you see it, then if it's only reality seeing reality, then it has no meaning.
No meaning, quite.
That comes in the field of intelligence.
No, sir. No. Don't jump to anything. I want to see. I want to find out. One wants to find out. Having operated in the field of reality all my life, and seeing the distortions in that field, the seeing of that distortion is truth. That's what I want to.
Yes. Yes.
Seeing the fact.
That has to be truth.
Truth.
But you said the man living in reality only verbally understands this.
No. The man lives in reality. I live in reality. Reality being all the things thought has put together. All the things, all the activity of thought, thinking about something or reflecting upon. thought distorting, thought rational, straight, Fred, all that. I've lived in that. And here comes along a doctor and says, look, truth is that which is. And he says, when you see the distortion, that is the truth. That is action.
Such a person will not act.
No. Just listen. Don't discuss with me yet. Don't discuss with me yet. He says, the seeing that in the field of reality, seeing a distortion, which is the fact. That fact which is, that is reality. That is truth. I've got it. Right, sir? So you have told me, when you see without the observer, when you see the observer and the observed is one, that is reality.
That is truth.
I'm mixing up each time. That is truth.
Well, we made a jump between seeing the distortion and seeing
That's it.
the observer and the observed is one. Now,
One. That's right.
ordinarily, see, I would say that, I have seen that the reality is distorted, but at that moment I still don't see the observer and the observed is one. There seems to be a jump, right?
Jump. I jumped, yes.
Now,
So how do I see distortion? Is the seeing of the distortion a rational, a thoughtful, you follow, reason process, or is it?
it's instantaneous. I mean,
Huh?
it's without time. It's
Yes, without time.
there's a sense of distortion without.
Yes,
But later we may express it
that's
rationally.
right. That's right. The seeing is out of time.
Yes. Now, we should go slowly on that because.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes, because see, sometimes one feels that it comes in a flash, or sometimes the seeing comes at it so gradually, as it were, you don't know when it comes. You see, it would seem both of those are just different ways of experiencing what is out of time. You see, in other words, you don't really.
Can it come gradually?
No, I don't. It just seems to. You see, I'm not saying it does. In other words, when you think it over and you ask.
That's a different matter.
Because you never know exactly how it comes.
That's my, yes. Yes.
Sometimes when you think it over, it seems it came in a flash.
Yes.
Or sometimes it sort of came in so gradually. See, sometimes you think, when did I understand something? And you say, I don't know exactly when, you see. But, so being out of time means we don't try to put it in a flash or...
Just a minute, sir, just a minute. I want to see. The seeing is the doing.
Yes.
I see and do. The seeing is the doing.
Yes.
Therefore, there is no gradual
No.
wave.
No, there's no gradual wave, but I think if you say it's a flash, you also bring in time.
No, of course.
I mean, if it's sudden. You see, if you say it's sudden, you bring in time.
Time,
If you say
yes.
it's gradual, you bring
Of
in
course,
time.
of course.
So you can't say either. Now,
Would you put it, the seeing is the doing. It has already been done. Hmm?
yes.
And you want to find reasons for...
You want to explain it
Yes,
in
that's
terms
right.
of reality. You see.
That's right. That's right.
You see, you try to see, you're slipping back into the notion that reality is what is,
Right.
and truth is merely explaining, is information about reality. You see, so now, in the moment of seeing distortion, the action takes place, and the distortion will then vanish. You see, but what I think here's where the problem comes in the usual situation. Somebody sees distortion, but he later finds out that he's still not free of it, do you see?
Yes.
And therefore, time has, by all this has come in,
Then he is not seeing.
Yes.
If I am not free of my distortions, though I have seen it, I haven't seen it.
Yes. Well, the way one might look at it, one hasn't seen the whole of it, which is means
Yes,
one hasn't seen
put
it.
it, yes.
And that's where
The seeing, sir, is the whole.
it is the whole, but not. See, I think this point needs to be worked on very carefully, because what generally happens is one sees, and let us say not the whole, and somebody, see, now I ask you, well, what am I to do in that situation? You see, I say, I saw the distortion, you know, but it seemed that it came back.
And then you're
It
right.
wasn't there, so how shall I see the whole of it so it won't come
You
back?
can't see the whole of it.
Then how shall I see so that it won't come back?
Correct.
You see that this is where the...
So I think the catch is in this, if you can put it, is seeing, doing a thought process.
No, of course.
If you say it's not, and the thought process is only comes in explaining all the rest of it. The seeing is the doing, which means seeing the whole. Must be, otherwise it's not seeing. Right?
Yes.
And if the mind sees the whole, then the distortion can never come back.
Yes. Now I have to see the whole field of reality, because that's
Yes.
where the distortion is.
Yes.
You see, perhaps I'd say I have seen the distortion occur in certain activities. You see, at my own, right? I say in certain cases I see that I distort. But that is not yet seeing the whole field of reality.
No.
Because I begin to think that I distort in this way or that way. You know, in other words, but then, so I have to see the whole field of reality, you see. That's what it looks like.
I think you do, sir. When you see and the doing, you must see the whole.
Yes, what I mean is that by the whole, the essence of this field, you see, not every little detail.
No, of course not.
But the essence.
Yeah, yes. Can one can one say what that act of intelligence be in the field of reality?
I didn't get the question. I didn't quite understand it.
Can one predicate?
Predicate.
Can one tell another verbally what that intelligence will do in the field of reality? I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Communicate then.
Communicate or state beforehand what it will do. See, sir, I'm trying to find out I see this truth operating in the field of reality as intelligence. Now, what will that intelligence do under these circumstances? Can one say that, ask that question, or it is a distorted question?
Well, it's somewhat distorted.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it presupposes that the intelligence is one reality almost
Yes.
operating on another.
Yes. So that's what we are doing all the time. Tell me what that intelligence will do in the field of reality, and I will follow that. You have that intelligence, and I request you, ask you pray to you to tell me how that intelligence operates in this.
That makes no sense.
How that truth
Or
operates.
even to say that somebody has the intelligence makes no sense. I mean, I think you could say that, well, perhaps we could try it, that intelligence may be operating in the actions of one man, let's say.
Yes.
I don't know if that would be fair to say that, right?
Let's suppose.
Yeah, and rather than saying he has the intelligence.
Yes, quite.
And it seems to me that if I could see that there really is no distinction of one man and the other man,
Quite.
that would be the key.
So, what place has love in truth?
Well, that's a difficult question. I mean, it's difficult to know exactly what the question means.
Question means this. What is generally called love, is it always in the field of reality?
Well, I don't think it could have it be basically in the field of reality.
But we have reduced it to that.
Yeah, it could operate in the field of reality.
Yes. So what is love and truth? Is truth love? Love, that word again, what it means.
Yeah.
Love to be, what does it mean, sir? You
I
know.
don't know. I mean, it's the meanings are very unclear when you look up in the dictionary. But aside from pleasure and so on, which is the basic root, actually.
That's all reality, of course.
Yes, the nearest I could get to it was goodwill and benevolence to all, or something. You know, that
Compassion.
Goodwill, benevolence, and but most of the meanings go back to various forms of pleasure.
Pleasure,
Yeah.
quite right. All right. Is pleasure in the field of reality?
Well, it seems it is. Yes.
It is. Then that pleasure has no relation to truth.
Well, you could say that in genuine enjoyment, there's a kind of pleasure which.
Is enjoyment pleasure?
Well, it depends on how you use the words.
I know that's what
Of course,
I'm.
but if you want, you can establish a distinction of the words and say it's not. But there may be an apparent similarity of the two. I mean,
I enjoy. There is enjoyment, there is enjoyment in seeing the tree. Not that I am enjoying the tree.
yes.
But there is the seeing of that tree is a joy. The seeing. Therefore, the acting, seeing is the doing, and the doing is joy.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, so far. Yes, good.
Right. Then is compassion. What place has compassion in the field of reality? If we say compassion is love, truth.
Yes, and that's all part of the action of truth, isn't it? I mean, it's all in the action of truth.
All in the action of truth, right. It becomes very difficult, this.
The words are difficult. And
Just it.
you see, if you say love is in the action of truth, the action of truth includes, at the very least, let's say, benevolence and compassion.
Compassion.
I mean,
So it's all one, isn't it? Seeing, doing, compassion. It's all one. Not seeing, then doing, then compassion. Seeing, as we said, and the doing is the whole.
Yes.
And when there is that seeing as the whole, in that there is compassion.
Yes, I mean, one would like to see that is absolutely that's the necessity of it. You see, because the truth is whole and divisible, see, the lack of compassion could only arise from division, couldn't it? I mean, in other words, sense of division.
Yes, lack of compassion.
In other words, if man feels divided from other people or from nature, then he will not have
Lack
compassion.
of compassion, yes.
So if there is no division,
That is compassion.
compassion is inevitable.
Yes. So it's all one.
Yes. Which means, if you say there's love for a particular
Person.
or feature of reality, then that implies division. Or would you?
Or would you say, sir, again, seeing, doing, truth, love, all that's love, let's call it for the moment. I may love you. In that love, because I feel compassionate in that sense. I love you. You don't become a particular thing. I love you. I don't.
To make it more clear, you see, because there's the tremendous tendency to particularize. You see,
when I separate you, in that separation, love cannot exist.
yes. Now, what do you mean by me without separation?
When thought process operates in me as mine and not mine, when there is that sense of duality, in that sense, is there love? Is there compassion?
No, because there's
We
no
said
inherent
not.
separation.
Yeah, and that we said not. Then, when there's the perception of whole, which is love, then I love you, and also have the same feeling for that, for the other.
Well, what meaning do we give to different people in this whole, you say, or to different things?
I've known you for years,
Yes.
and the others for years. Sorry, it sounds sentimental, forgive me if I'm going to. I love you. It doesn't mean I exclude the others.
Well, it seems, I'm trying to understand a certain...
I live with you.
Yes.
I cook for you, or you're my wife, or I'm this, or whatever it is. But the others are not excluded.
I understand that now, but it seems there's some truth to distinguishing certain people, let's say different people, even if we don't exclude, you see. That is,
of course there must
we
be.
make a distinction with no exclusion, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to get at something because
I'm getting it cross.
well,
Go ahead, sir, talking. Because this is one of the problems, sir.
yeah.
if I love you, we have made that love as an exclusive process. You're mine, I am yours, with all the dependency, all that business. When I see dependency, then I see the whole structure of dependency as a whole.
Yes.
And therefore, the seeing is the doing, is the finish.
Yes. But are you and I realities, do you see it?
Huh?
Are you and I realities?
Of course.
All right, is that what you mean to say that to a certain extent you and I are realities?
Of course.
I may have love for you or for it, and I have something in reality. In other words, it seems there's a relation, or not an action truth, that love is an action of truth in reality. Is
Reality.
That what
That's what we said.
Yes,
Yes.
That's just coming
Yes.
back to it, to be clear.
But I'm trying to, that is when I see that I depend on you, which I call love, and I see the whole nature of dependency, all the intricacies of, then it's finished. Therefore, I no longer depend, which doesn't mean all the rest of, callousness and all that. And the seeing of that is compassion. Therefore, I love you, though I don't depend on you.
Yes.
Or we get into some.
Yes, so the seeing that is, what I say, is necessary for compassion. Or is it, we say it is compassion.
It is compassion, of course. But as long as I depend on you,
Yes.
the other thing is not.
Yes, well, if I depend on you, there's something false, but
Of course. So what are we saying, sir? I'm trying to find out really what is the relationship between what is a man who lives in reality and observes the rational and the irrational in that field, the seeing the irrational is the truth.
yes.
Because he sees the whole of the irrationality of that field.
Yes, and its essence.
Huh?
Yes.
And because he sees it, his action is the seeing is the doing, therefore that is the truth. So he lives in truth in the field of reality. Huh?
Yes.
Yes, I'm beginning to, right?
Yeah. You see, I think the basic thing that's false is that when one person depends on another, that he is seeing the field of reality as something more than the field. In other words, he is seeing it as that which is and giving it overwhelming importance.
Importance, quite.
And therefore everything is distorted.
So, in a school or in an educational business, or a man who is trying to communicate, how does he communicate truth to the student, because the student only lives, how does he communicate it to him? To the world, sir.
To what?
How do you communicate this thing to a businessman, to a priest? To him, living in reality, he has created the image of God, Jesus, or whatever it is, and that is distortion. He won't see that.
Well, isn't it possible to communicate the fact of distortion?
Yes, you can, but
You
it
have
is
to resist it.
there is such tremendous conditioning. I mean, that's what happens with most of the students.
Yeah, or with anybody.
With anybody. How do you break down that resistance? Through compassion?
Well, I think it's necessary.
Huh?
It's necessary to have it.
No, the man, you are compassionate.
It's not enough.
You are compassionate.
Mm.
And I am terribly conditioned. I believe deeply. You might be very kind, gentle.
No, I don't mean only that. I mean that I don't depend on you, and I understand.
No, you are out of it.
I understand some of your,
Yes. Now, how do you react on me? How do you make me break this thing?
Well, I mean, I think that what's needed, is simply not just compassion, but an energy.
That's what I was calling
Passion itself.
a passion itself, which means one has the tremendous energy, which is born of passion, compassion, and all the rest of it. Does that energy, does that energy bring about a new consciousness in the other? A new, let me put it that way, sir. Sorry, I'm trying to. Are we adding to the consciousness a new content?
No.
Huh?
I shouldn't think so. I mean, if you add a new content, wouldn't it be the same story?
Same thing. That's what you see, I've listened to the Buddha, I've listened to Christ, or Jesus, or what the priests call me. I've listened to Judaism, I've listened to various things, and all these are the contents of my consciousness. And you come along and add some more to it, another.
Well, that will.
Wait, because you are energetic, you've got full of this thing burning, and I absorb that and add another candle to it in my consciousness. And you say, don't do it. But I have already done it. Because that's my habit, my conditioning, that I add, carry on burden after burden. How do I receive you? You know, sir, How do I listen to you? How do I... What are you to do with me, sir? You understand?
Well,
after all, this is the problem. You have this problem in your university. How are you to convey something to them, to a student who is, you know what they are, I don't have this sense of truth. And you're burning with it, you're full of it. It must be a problem to you.
yes.
Not a problem, it must
Yeah. Well, it's something.
You're beating your head against the wall. Fortunately, I'm not in that position because I don't care if they listen.
You don't care what?
I care, I don't care. I won't say I do listen. If they don't listen, they don't listen. I
Well,
won't go.
I mean, that's more or less what I do too. I mean, if you really want to, as I see it, there may be a few who are ready to listen to some extent. I mean,
Or you bring a new quality to the consciousness. You know, I don't know. Say, sir, look, Stalin, Lenin, Hitler, the priests in the name of Jesus, the Hindus with their priests and so on. They've affected consciousness.
well, but not in this fundamental way.
Not in this fundamental way, no, but they have affected it. Because they have preached, they have talked, they have influenced, they have monetarily and physically tortured, they have influenced it. Here, are you influencing them, or you are adding another chapter to that consciousness?
No, that's a danger. I mean,
Or are you saying, look, out, get out of all that? See, that just there is no seeing without freedom. Right, sir?
yes.
So freedom is the essence of seeing. Freedom from prejudice and all the rest of it.
Yes.
Therefore, a mind that is free can see, does see. Does the seeing is the doing.
Yes, but yeah. We're back, of course, the lack of freedom is the
Yes.
lack of seeing. I mean, it's a,
Of course.
I mean, we always go around in the circle. The you see, the lack of freedom is the reality, is the instrument of
Yes.
reality.
Of
the
reality,
feeling.
correct.
It's,
But a communist would say there is no such thing as freedom.
well, I mean, we could discuss that. But I think that many communists are aiming at, like Karl Marx aimed at ultimate freedom, but they thought they could achieve freedom through reality by changing reality.
Reality, yes.
They would eventually arrive at freedom. I think this is closer to it, you see.
Yes.
There may be many communists who are, as you say, but I'm taking those who really understood it.
What they
Karl
understood,
Marx.
of course. Of course, they said that. Of course, Marx
Yes.
said,
Uh,
change the environment,
yes, change the reality of man and he will
man,
be
yes,
free.
free.
And of course, man who is not free cannot change his reality.
Of course. So you see, that's the danger. Yes,
But we have to step out of the whole thing. You
that's
see.
right. Step out of the whole thing. And that needs energy. Hmm?
Yes.
As long as I live in the field of reality, which has its own energy, that energy will not free me.
No.
But the seeing of the distortion in that field of reality will give that energy.
Yes. I think I would put it, say, the seeing of the necessary and inevitable distortion, you see. Because one might see distortion and hope to get rid of it, you see.
No. The seeing of the distortion is energy.
Yes. But
Yeah.
I mean, the seeing the distortion cannot be avoided in that field, you see. No, there can be no way out of distortion in the field of reality.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying in the field of reality, distortion is inevitable?
As long as we stay in that
Of course,
field.
of course, quite.
Let's see that. See, I think that many people would say, see, it just occurred to me, many people would say, yes, I agree with you, I distort, but in the back of my mind is a hope I could get out, I could do something to stop it.
Quite.
No,
The desire to stop it is another form of
that's
distortion.
another form,
course.
but not
Of course,
obvious
of
at
course.
that moment.
Of course.
You see, so I have to see that there's no way out in that field.
There is no way out in that field, quite. Oh, wait a minute. In that field of reality, there are distortions.
Yes,
The seeing of the distortion,
yes,
seeing in the sense the whole,
the essence of the
whole of distortion, the seeing brings that energy, of course must, which is, I cannot see if there is no freedom of that distortion.
Yes, yes. The seeing of the distortion, but it is energy. Now you see.
Yes.
See, I think. Couldn't we say that the feeling that there is no energy is also a distortion?
Of course. No, we said in that field of reality, reality has its own energy.
It has a kind of energy.
And a kind of energy.
And I think then, let's say that energy includes desire.
Includes desire,
Yeah.
includes all the whole lot.
All the forms of energy.
Yes.
Will.
And also the energy of distortion.
Yes. Now,
to see that distortion, the mind must be free.
yes.
Must be, look at it, must put it outside it, as it were, and look at it.
Well, when we look at it like this, that the whole field of reality is permeated with distortion. Right?
Yes.
Now you're proposing that we can look at, in some way, this whole field of reality. You're saying we can, in some sense, put a distance to separation. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Although,
Yes.
at the one hand, we have to be very clear because we don't want. We're also saying there's no division. You say that it's not. There seems
The
to be a
observer is the
contradiction.
observed and all
Yeah,
that.
there seems to be a contradiction here, so
Right.
we have to try to clear that up. But I think there's a difference between a kind of would you say a kind of a space or an empty,
Yes, that's
something empty.
empty.
Between, I don't know what, I know between might be a wrong word, but that this reality,
This reality is empty.
yes.
Quite.
Well,
This reality is nothing.
it's nothing, yes. So that was the point which I know we just mentioned. You see that if we said it was no thing, see the word nothing means no thing.
No thing, quite.
See, so nothingness is no thingness, which is not reality. See, reality is to be something.
See, quite.
So if we say nothingness, it doesn't mean unreal, neither real nor unreal,
No.
but
It is
entirely out of that field.
Out of that field, quite.
And ultimately, reality is nothing, no thing. But now we're saying, see if we can get this clear. You see that there has to be a kind of space of emptiness, is that or nothingness,
Yes.
in
Yes.
which the thing can be seen. Because seeing is truth, which is no thing,
No thing,
or
that's right.
nothingness.
Yeah, that's right.
And seeing can only take place in nothingness. Is that?
That's right, sir.
Which is energy.
That is, when the mind is empty,
Yeah.
when the mind is nothing, not a thing, in that there is perception,
Yes. Yes. And energy.
energy.
Now, the mind is nothing, and reality is nothing. But reality is no thing. Ultimately, although reality is thing, but
Yes, no, that's
but
what.
in essence, it's nothing. Which means, you see, could I look at it like this, that there's nothingness, but in nothingness is a sort of a form, which is reality.
Reality, that's
But a form which is nothing.
Quite. But sir, that presupposes that there is nothing.
Well, it's only an image too.
Of course, that's what I want.
Yes, I mean it's an image too. Because then you would turn nothing into a thing.
Again becomes the whole thing, quite.
But let's say the mind in some way steps back, as you say, this is not closely connected with this reality, would you say, to see? You say there's a space.
There must be space between, not between, there must be
There's
space.
If reality, I get feel that the reality is in the space, you see.
Yes,
Now, and in some way, therefore, when you say space, it means that there's room,
distance.
that the thing is not closely connected. I mean, that's the way in other words,
So isn't there space when the observer is the observed?
yes, we have to get it clear. At first sight, it sounds wrong, you see. To have a space sounds like
Of
a
course.
separation. But
We are using this, we are not using the word space as a division, as a dividing
yes,
factor.
so can we make it clear?
Of course. The space, when I see something, that candle, there is a space,
Yes.
verbal space, a space of distant time and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. But the seeing
Yes.
has no space.
But then why do you say this? The seeing has no space.
Yes.
But before you said, you know...
Before, I said, people, when they say I see, there's a division.
Yes, but you said that we should be able to have some space between us and reality.
We said there should be some space in the sense, not a division.
Yes, well we have to say there's two kinds of space then. That one is dividing and the other is not.
That's right.
Hmm?
That's right.
Now, one is
One is
inclusive,
dividing, the other is
is,
not.
is including. Would that be right? Just say
Yes.
this space includes everything.
Yes. To see and the doing, in that there is no division. Where there is division, there is a so-called space of time and distance and all the rest of it. In this there is no division, and therefore there is It is, what should I say, it is in space. I don't know.
Yes, well,
If I'm not.
well, everything is in space.
Of course.
You say that space includes everything. Space.
Yes, of course, I exist, you exist.
We all know, and that space is not a division, but rather you could almost call it the ground, or the
Yes, sir, yes.
now, or the underlying substance, in a
Yes.
sense.
The space I create when I dislike you, or like you, is different from the space, from the freedom of space, of this space.
This room, let's say.
Yes,
Yes, we see the space, the room is one whole space, part of it goes into the outer space, and every object is in that
space. Yes.
And that we're all, in some sense, united, all one.
Yes, oh yes.
All right.
Without space we couldn't exist. That's, yes. I wonder if we are talking of the same thing.
I don't know. Well, are you discussing a space of the mind as well?
Yes, space in the mind as well.
As there's the space, the visual space, which we can sense as one, and the space in the mind.
Space in the mind.
And can we say that the reality is in the space in the mind?
Reality is the space.
Is it within?
I can artificially create it.
Yes, but I mean, when we say we have to see the whole of reality from a space, or with a space.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, is this whole of reality within the space of the mind?
No. Let's get this clear. No. So, look. To see that, and seeing is acting. In that, there is no space as division.
Yes.
I think that's clear. Therefore, that space is the freedom of nothingness. We said that.
Yes, well, nothingness is the same as freedom, because
Yes, that's
as soon
right.
as the thing is a thing, it's not
Yes,
free.
that's all that we say then.
Yes.
Therefore, truth is nothingness,
Yes.
not a thing. Right. The action of nothingness, which is intelligence in the field of reality, that intelligence, being free and all the rest of it, operates in a reality without distortion.
Yes.
That's one factor. And in the mind, in one's mind, if there is no space but crowded with problems, with images, with remembrances, with knowledge, with all that, such a mind is not free and therefore cannot see, and seeing acting.
Yes.
Right, sir? Because my mind is crowded. It cannot, it's not free. Because in the mind, it's so crowded, there is no space.
Yes. Now, when there is no space, then the mind is controlled by all these things.
Yes, controlled by, yes,
Which
environment,
make distortion.
distortions.
There are influences that make distortions.
That's right.
Now, yes.
So a mind that is empty, nothing, is capable, or the seeing of it is the doing, and the doing is truth, and so on, so on, so on. And is that space limited because of the mind?
What do you mean by that?
Limited in the sense, of course it's not limited, it can't be. Right.
Now the thing, see, when the mind...
It is not created by thought, therefore it's not limited.
Yes. But this space can see the thing of reality and act in relation to that thing, right?
Yes, yes.
So
That's
in,
right.
in some sense the thing can be absorbed into or assimilated into that space. Is that what you mean? In other words, since the space can relate to the thing.
I don't quite follow.
You see,
Perhaps I'm vague, I don't. What are you saying, sir? In this space, mind, in the space of
yeah.
does reality exist?
That's what I'm saying. Perhaps there's no reality in this space, but in some sense,
That's
there's
right.
the essence. What?
That's right, sir.
What?
There's no reality.
Yes, but there is some essence. In other words, when you contact the thing, you see, the thing is thought, right? And
Huh?
the thing is thought, as we're saying, what we think about.
Yes, that's right.
And well, this thought is understood. I mean, in some way, you see, I don't know exactly how to put it, but
Are we saying, sir,
yeah,
are we saying when there is space in the mind, what has reality? What place has reality?
yes,
Hmm?
yeah,
What place has reality? Which is, reality is that which is the thing which is thought about. What place has thought in that reality? In that truth, in that emptiness, in that space?
yes.
What place has reality in that space? Has it any place? Has thought any place in that space, in that spacelessness?
Which ends the distortion. So I'm trying to discuss that in some way the space seems to contact this field of thought. You see, this is what is
Yes, I understand.
concerning me. It takes action in that field and
So,
brings it
I mean,
toward.
I understand. Make it much simpler for myself. What place has thought in that space?
Well, it may have no place, but then
What is the
between
relationship
that space and thought.
and thought? Let's put it
Yes.
that. What's the relationship between that space and thought? If thought created that space, then it would have relationship.
Well-
But thought has not created that space.
No, you see, we were saying, say at the end of the last time, that truth can act in reality,
Yes,
but reality not in truth.
that's right.
So we say,
That's right.
therefore this space can act in
in
thought.
reality.
In reality or in thought.
Yes.
Although it doesn't go the other way.
Yes,
No.
it's one way
Yeah.
ticket.
And it acts primarily, as I said, to straighten it out. I mean, to
Quite.
and if it's straight, then thought can move on its own.
That's right.
Hmm?
Yes. So what is the relationship of that space to thought?
Well, not to the content of thought, it has none, but if we consider, in some sense, thought is also within that which is, do you see? I mean, in other words, if we said thought is a reality, you see that when we say thought is not working right.
Are you saying this, sir? When thought is operating,
Yeah.
straight, rational, sane, healthy, holy, that has a relationship to this space.
Yes, I'm implying that, yes.
That's
So in some way they are then parallel.
parallel.
But this space can also act within thought
Yes, we said that.
to help make it parallel.
Yes,
right?
yes, we said that.
Yes.
It's a one-way relationship.
Yes. It's one way. I mean, I'm trying to make a distinction. It's very hard to make between. If we take the content of thought, which is consciousness, then that has no action on
Yes,
the space.
yes,
But
yes.
I'm trying to say that the distortion of thought goes beyond. To see that goes beyond content,
Yes,
right?
yes.
To I don't know.
Why do you say beyond content?
Well, not exactly. To the way it's working, do you see? Well, I could say they're the same. To that, you see, what is the action? You see, of truth within thought? That's really the question.
Yes, what's the action? Yes.
Right. I mean, in general, you can see it's to straighten it out, to remove all this distortion. But I mean, to see it better.
So, wait a minute. Seeing is the doing.
Yes.
Let's stick to that.
Yeah.
The seeing of distortion is the ending of distortion.
Yes.
The ending of the distortion is ended because there is that energy of seeing.
Yes, which acts somehow within thought then, on thought. Right?
I see a distortion outside of me and inside me.
Yes.
And the seeing of that, to see that there must be freedom, that freedom implies energy,
Yes.
and the seeing
Is the doing.
pushes it away, clears it.
Yes.
Hmm?
That's,
Now, there is rational, sane thinking.
yes.
What relationship has that? What is the relationship of that to this space in the mind?
Well, that only arises when the space has cleared the thought.
Yes, we have cleared. Sorry,
And from then on, it may be moving parallel to truth in some way.
yes,
we're suggesting.
that's what I want to find out. Is it parallel, or is there harmony between the
Or
two?
harmony, or whatever the word. In some way, it is in harmony with that which is, we'll say.
Yes.
But I wanted to also say, in some sense, thought is also that which is. Do you see?
Yes, yes.
It's now, but in another sense,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
quite.
Now, therefore, thought which is within that which is in harmony with the whole, or I don't know, this is a poor way of putting it, with that which is, do you see?
Quite. I understand.
Now, if there is disharmony, that is also that which is, and the truth of it is that
Can
which
we
is.
put it this way, sir? For the moment, we just thought is measure, time. That measurement can be distorted or rational. That's clear.
Yes.
So thought is a movement in the field of time.
Yes.
And we say truth is not related to that.
Well, in a sense, the one way.
One way.
The
That's
truth does not depend on thought.
Thought,
Thought may
yeah,
depend on
yes.
truth.
thought may depend.
Thought may be acted on by truth.
Yes. Thought can act upon truth.
No, the other way around. Truth.
Truth can act upon
Thought.
thought. That's understood. Now it's clear. Then what's the problem? Then they're all in the same field, aren't they? In the same space,
Yes.
within the mind.
Yes.
Therefore, there is no division. That's what.
Yes.
There is no division as thought
And then truth.
and truth.
Yes. The division is the result of this thought.
This
not
thought.
spirit. Yeah.
That's right.
As
So as it in the same field.
So therefore, thought is also, within. I don't know how to put it. Thought is also within truth. I mean, it moves as.
No,
in harmony
just a
with
minute,
truth,
sir.
you're
Just a
saying.
minute. I'm not quite sure. Thought we said is of time.
It's of time, but it may, in some way.
I want to.
Yeah.
Thought is time measure and all the rest of it.
Yes.
We said truth is not that.
Yes.
Then what is the relationship of thought to truth? When that question is put, your thought is looking to truth,
Yeah. It is. Yes.
and therefore it has no relationship. But when truth looks at thought, it says I have a relationship.
Yes.
In the sense, I use a quick phrase, I use time, I function in the field of time.
Yes, and that's the same as the field of reality, isn't it?
Yes, I function in the field of reality. Now, do they run parallel all the time, or there is no division at all? There is no division when truth is looking.
Yes. Well, when truth is looking.
It's only the division
From
when
thought.
thought.
When
That's
thought
right.
tries to reflect truth
Yes,
within itself,
yes,
you say.
that's right.
I
That's
think
right.
that's where the trouble arises. I mean, maybe the whole trouble that
Yeah.
the
Yes,
thought
sir.
tries to reflect truth in
Totally,
itself
yes.
and calls that reality.
Yeah. That's right.
Calls that independent.
Now we got it.
Yes.
That is, when thought considers, reflects upon truth,
Yes.
then there is a division.
Yes. I mean, thought intrinsically divides itself
Divides
from
it.
truth.
Yeah.
But that is false because thought is only reflecting.
Reflecting, quite. But when truth regards reality, there is no division.
No, there's no division in reality. Is
Because we said when truth operates in the field of reality, it's operating with intelligence.
yes.
Hmm?
Reality is a necessary field for truth, to operate in.
I see.
You're
Right.
driving at that, and truth and reality are really, when seen from the side of truth, then they're merely terms. You're seeing this whole operation, if you see what I mean. That the difficulty is in ordinary, when thought, as you were saying, when we start from thought, when thought starts and tries to reflect on truth, and regards, therefore, it produces the notion of a reality and the truth about that
Yes.
reality.
And therefore it's divided,
That's all divided, and
fragmented, yes.
also it gives this reality the significance of that which is. So it must distort. You see, it must.
Yes,
give
yes,
it
yes.
All right, now. If we don't, the basic thing that goes wrong is that when reality is given the significance of that which is,
Yes, sir. And therefore that becomes real for truth, for reality. Yes,
Yes.
quite.
Right now. But if reality is simply an action, a function
Yes. Of
of intelligence,
then it's quite.
then it's all part of the one, you see.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
When intelligence operates in the field of reality, it is one.
yes.
It doesn't divide.
The reality is merely a field. It is not
Yes.
that which is, or an independent
Yes,
substance.
sir. That's,
So this will-
that's something we have discovered. Mhm.
Yes. And then there's the space, it seems, you see, to say that the field of reality is in the space. Rather
Field
than
of
being
reality in this space. Wait a minute.
correct.
That means thought is in this space.
Yes, could I try to explain it? You see, when I start from thought and reality as in, as that which is, then I think this is a substance which is just by itself, and here's another one, and they're separated by space. You see.
Space, quite.
Now, but if I look at it another way and I say, there is truth, or the space acts, right? And reality is merely a function of that action. It is not an independent set of substances.
I see, I
You see
understand.
what I'm driving at? That stand each one by itself, separate from all the others. You see, it's not that which is, you see.
Yes. Truth, are you saying, sir? Truth when it operates in reality, then in that there is no division.
No, because we don't think reality just stands by itself and
Yeah.
truth is somewhere else operating.
Yeah, quite.
But rather, reality is a function within the operation of truth.
Yes. And so truth has a need for reality.
Well, as its function.
Right.
But
When the function becomes all important, then
Yes.
etc.
when the function is given the value of that which is, then it must become all important, you see,
Yes,
because
right.
that which is what is all important.
Quite.
And then the whole thing must distort.
So you're telling me, don't be concerned with truth. Be concerned with reality and its distortions.
Yes. So one has to start observing. Yeah.
I'm beginning. Don't bother about reality. It's not your function.
I mean, truth.
Don't be concerned with truth. That you don't know what it means. Be concerned only with reality and its distortions. Reality is thought and all the rest of it. And you say to me, be free of distortions. And to be free of distortions, just observe the distortion. Not resist it, push it. Just observe the distortions. That observance needs freedom.
Yes.
And therefore that freedom and the observance will give you energy to push away the distortion. Right. And the seeing of the distortion is the truth.
Yes.
So the truth is not something separate from seeing.
No.
And the doing. They're all one. And this is intelligence which operates in the field of reality without distortion.
Yes.
And truth then is, I've gone far, I have freed myself from distortions. Therefore, I'm asking the question, then truth is seeing and the doing and the operation of that intelligence in the field of reality, in the field of reality. That's all I know, actually.
Yes.
So I have in my consciousness great many distorting factors.
Yes.
Do I wipe them all out with one observation, or am I to take one by one?
Well, evidently you can't take.
You can't take by one. Therefore, seeing is the whole.
It's the whole.
That's it. Therefore, when you see the whole, that is the truth.
That is the truth. See the whole of the field of reality.
Yes,
And its distortion.
and therefore, to see that, mind must have space.
Could you say that means mind is not occupied with all the details?
Of course, mind, that occupation implies corruption.
Yeah. You see, the word emptiness means not occupied.
Not occupied. So it's not occupied, it's empty. It's empty because it's no problems. It has no mind, and it's empty. Therefore, the emptying of the mind of its content is meditation in all the rest of it. I got it, yes, sir.
Well, there's just one point that occurred to me that, see, it seems that something comes close to the essence of this distortion is that the whole field of reality is the tendency to take that field as that which is.
So, if I, I'm just thought, if the mind discards and puts away all distortion,
Yes.
What is the necessity of thought? Except as a function.
Well, as a rational function.
Function, that's
Yes.
all.
Yes. Well, I think that, see, many people might feel that thought ought to be a rational function, but they can't make it so.
No,
you see.
no. If thought is not, is left, what should I say? If thought, let me just make sure. If there is no, I'm asking, if there is no controller of thought, just a minute, then it will create all kinds of distortions.
Well, no, not through it. The truth is operating.
That's it. Therefore, thought itself is a distorting factor. If truth is not operating.
Yes, I think that's quite right. See, that if truth is not operating, then thought moves in all sorts of fortuitous ways. It's like the wind and the waves,
Of course.
The waves come in and they go this way and that way, crisscross.
Quite.
And whatever happens will just shape thought, make it go all around and distort. But
Would you say thought in itself is divisive, understood, is in itself distorting, it's creating distortions?
well, as a matter of fact, or are you trying to say it necessarily does so? See, there are two possibilities. One is to say thought without truth necessarily distorts, or the other is to say thought, no matter what happens, thought is distorting. Now, I don't think we want to say that thought.
No,
The other,
no,
right?
the other.
So we say thought without truth is a
Thought,
divisive
that's
process.
Right. Thought without the capacity, without that quality of seeing,
Yes.
is a distorting factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
you see, let's see. I was trying to look at it this way. The thought is a kind of contains two factors: to react and to reflect. You see that
react and reflect.
And it's this immediate reactive factor which makes it seem so real, and they react so fast that you don't realize it's thought. You see, the thing you know enters into what you see. Now, the difficulty arises when you lose track of the reflection. Do you see?
Quite.
Then it becomes an illusion. You see, you know, as if reflection has occurred and thought loses track of it. And then the reflected thing will be taken as real, as genuinely real.
We must be awfully careful here that the word Maya doesn't, illusion and all.
No, but I think that's a mistranslation into English. You see, the word Maya probably originally meant
is to measure.
To measure, and that measurement considered as that which is would be illusion.
Yes,
but
yes.
Measurement considered in itself as a function, is rational. I think we're just at.
How long have we talked?
Already, it's 5:30. I mean, what time?
Oh my God!
That's too long.
We better stop. That's a reality.
Yes.
Should we do this every Saturday? Would it
All right,
be
yes,
convenient
good,
for you?
yes. Fine, yes.
Not Sunday?
Not
That's
Sunday,
too much
right.
fun.
Yes. Now next Saturday will be all right. The Saturday after that we're having the scientists
Of course,
conference, so it won't be-
we'll
Right.